I suppose most of you have heard of Zen. But before going on to explain any details about it, I want to make one thing absolutely clear. I am not a Zen Buddhist. I am not advocating Zen Buddhism. I'm not trying to convert anyone to it. I have nothing to sell. I'm an entertainer. That is to say, in the same sense that when you go to a concert and you listen to someone play Mozart, he has nothing to sell except the sound of the music. He doesn't want to convert you to anything. He doesn't want you to join an organization in favor of Mozart's music as opposed to, say, Beethoven's. And I approach you in the same spirit as a musician with his piano or violinist with his violin. I just want you to enjoy a point of view which I enjoy.
What you looking for?
I am looking for the master.
Ain't no masters here, dude. Ain't no slaves either.
The master, he doing his wisdom thing.
I seek only wisdom of the master.
Take a hike, cool breeze.
Please, I must see the master. It is very important to me.
Look here, chump. The master don't see nobody. Let me say it so he can understand it, Jim.
See, that's history. That's the raw, funky, stanky stuff of life. That's what bluesmen do. That's what jazzmen do. See, I'm a blues man in the life of the mind. I'm a jazz man in the world of ideas. Therefore, for me, music is central. So when you're talking about poetry, for the most part, Plato was talking primarily about words. Whereas I talk about notes, I talk about tone, I talk about temper, I talk about rhythms. See, for me, music is fundamental. Philosophy must go to school not only with the poets, philosophy needs to go to school with the musicians.
I don't have to tell you things are bad. Everybody knows things are bad. The dollar buys a nickel's worth. Banks are going bust. Shopkeepers keep a gun under the counter. Punks are running wild in the street. There's nobody anywhere who seems to know what to do, and there's no end to it. We know the air is unfit to breathe, and our food is unfit to eat. We sit watching our TVs while some local newscaster tells us that today we had 15 homicides and 63 violent crimes, as if that's the way it's supposed to be. We know things are bad, worse than bad. They're crazy. It's like everything everywhere is going crazy, so we don't go out anymore. We sit in the house, and slowly the world we're living in is getting smaller, and all we say is, please, at least leave us alone in our living rooms. Let me have my toaster and my TV and my steel-belted radios, and I won't say anything. Just leave us alone. Well, I'm not going to leave you alone. I want you to get mad. I don't want you to protest. I don't want you to riot. I don't want you to write to your congressman because I wouldn't know what to tell you to write. I don't know what to do about the depression and the inflation and the Russians and the crime in the street. All I know is that first, you've got to get mad. You've got to say, I'm a human being. God damn it. My life has value.
The confusion of money in any form whatsoever with wealth is one of the major problems from which civilization is suffering. And in ever so many different dimensions of life, we are living in a state of total confusion between symbol and reality. So, you remember the Great Depression, when one day everybody was doing business and things were going along pretty well, and the next day there were bread lines. It was like someone came to work and they said to him, sorry chum, but you can't build today. No building can go on, we don't have enough inches. He said, what do you mean we don't have enough inches? We got wood, haven't we? We got metal, we even got tape measures. You say, yeah, but you don't understand the business world. We just haven't got enough inches, just plain inches. We've used too much of them. And that's exactly what happened when we had the Depression. Because money is something of the same order of reality as inches, grams, meters, pounds, or lines of latitude and longitude. It is an abstraction. It is a method of bookkeeping to obviate the cumbersome procedures of barter.
Hiya, neighbor. How you feeling? Not a penny. Oh, now, come on. Herbie, did I ask you for any money? You got that look in your eye. Now, listen, you cleaned me out in that crap game, didn't you? You gave me a lesson, that's all I know. Oh, do me a favor, loan me $50. Schmitty, I can't. I can't lend you $50. Oh, yes, you can. No, I can't. All I got is $40, that's all. No. All right, give me the $40 and you owe me 10. I owe you 10. That's right. How come I owe you 10? Well, what did I ask you for? And how much did you give me? 40. So you owe me $10. That's right. But you owe me 40. Now, don't change the subject. I'm not changing the subject. You're trying to change my finance. Come on now, give me my $40. All right, there's your $40. Now, give me the $10 you owe me. I'm paying you on account. On account? On account, I don't know how I owe it to you. That's the way you feel about it? It's the last time I'll ever ask you for the loan of $50. Wait a minute, Smitty. How can I loan you $50 now? All I have is 30. Well, give me the 30 and you owe me 20. Okay, this is getting worse all the time. First I owe him 10, now I owe him 20. Why do you run yourself into debt? I'm not running in, you're pushing me. I can't help it if you can't handle your finances. I do all right with my money. Hey, you're doing all right with mine, too. Now, I asked you for the loan of $50, you gave me 30. So you owe me $20. 20 and 30 is 50. No. No. 25 and 25 is 50. All right, here's your $30. I'll give you back the 20 you owe me. Fine guy. Pal, $50. I'ma fuck you up. I'ma fuck you up.
When I first learned martial arts, I too have challenged many established instructors, and of course some other challenging me also. But what I have learned is that challenging means one thing. What is your reaction to it? How does it get you? Now, if you are secure within yourself, you treat it very, very, very lightly, because you ask yourself, am I really afraid of that man? But if I do not have such doubt, and if I do not have such fear, I would certainly treat it very lightly, just as today the rain is going on strong, but tomorrow maybe the sun is going to come out again. I mean, it's like that type of a thing.
I had a discussion with a great master in Japan on the last visit there, and we were talking about the various people who are working to translate the Zen books into English. And he said that's a waste of time. If you really understand Zen, he said, you could use any book. You could use the Bible. You could use Alice in Wonderland. You could use the dictionary. Because, he said, the sound of the rain needs no translation. So what does the rain say? Evening rain. It is the banana leaf that speaks of it first. You see, that's the point. And all the talk in the world doesn't get it unless you listen to the talk in a new way. The sound of the rain needs no translation. So then, in music, though, one doesn't make the end of a composition the point of the composition. If that were so, the best conductors would be those who played fastest. And there would be composers who wrote only finales. People go to a concert just to hear one crashing chord, because that's the end. Same way in dancing. You don't aim at a particular spot in the room. That's where you should arrive. The whole point of the dancing is the dance. Now, but we don't see that as brought by our education into our everyday conduct. We've got a system of schooling which gives a completely different impression. It's all graded. And what we do is we put the child into the corridor with a kind of, come on, kitty, kitty, kitty. And yeah, you go to kindergarten. That's a great thing, because when you finish that, you'll get into first grade. And then, come on, first grade leads to second grade, and so on. And then you get out of grade school, you go to high school, and it's revving up, the thing is coming. Then you're going to go to college. And by Jove, then you get into graduate school. And when you're through with graduate school, you go out to join the world. And then you get into some racket where you're selling insurance. And they've got that quota to make. And you're going to make that. And all the time, the thing is coming. It's coming. It's coming. That great thing, the success you're working for. Then when you wake up one day about 40 years old, you say, my God, I've arrived. I'm there. And you don't feel very different from what you always felt. And there's a slight letdown because you feel there's a hoax. And there was a hoax. A dreadful hoax. They made you miss everything by expectation. Look at the people who live to retire, put those savings away. And then when they're 65, they don't have any energy left, they're more or less impotent, and they go and rot in an old people, senior citizens community. Because we've simply cheated ourselves the whole way down the line. We thought of life by analogy with a journey, with a pilgrimage, which had a serious purpose at the end, and the thing was to get to that end. Success or whatever it is, or maybe heaven after you're dead. But we missed the point the whole way along. It was a musical thing, and you were supposed to sing or dance while the music was being played.
Dj Zo, podcast. Knocksteady. Tripmastermonk, Knocksteady. Podcast. Tripmastermonk. Dj Zo. Knocksteady. Knocksteady, 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 podcast, Tripmastermonk, DJ Zo, J Zo, J Zo.
good martial artist does not become tense but ready. Not thinking yet, not dreaming, ready for whatever may come. A martial artist has to take responsibility for himself and to face the consequences of his own doing. When the opponent expands, I contract. And when he contracts, I expand. And when there is an opportunity, I do not hit. It hits all by itself. To have no technique, there is no opponent. Because the word I does not exist.